Welcome back, listeners, to another episode of Set Schedules Meet the Agent. This is your host, Alan Perez. In this series, I'll be interviewing expert partner agents of ours who share their background and will discuss strategies for their success. Thank you for listening in, and email us directly to media@setschedule.com with your feedback. We hope that you enjoy the episode. And today I am joined by Casey Schein, an expert agent working out of Remax of Valencia. Casey services the Los Angeles Ventura counties with a focus on Santa Clarita, San Fernando Valley, and Antelope Valley. Thank you so much for joining us today, Casey. How are you doing today?
Good. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Of course. Yeah. And thank you so much for joining us, because I think that you definitely are an amazing resource. You have extensive experience and extensive insight into growing your business and working with clients. Could you give us a little bit of background on why that is? What is it that you did prior to real estate?
Yeah. So, prior to this, I had my own marketing business for 12 years. And anyone that knows real estate, it's all marketing, right? So especially if you're selling someone's home as a listing agent, the difference is the way that it's marketed. So I did that for 12 years, marketing, sales. I taught marketing, I taught sales. And that was 12 years of my life right before I jumped into real estate as an agent.
Amazing. And with that being said, could you give us a little bit more insight into why you decided that real estate was the right market for you?
You know, it's interesting because I've always wanted to get into real estate investing. When I was doing my marketing business, it always interested me, and I was fortunate enough in my the company that I worked in. I was able to be one of the top producing in not just California but throughout North America. And I thought, you know what, it would be so good to invest a lot of what I've made into real estate investing, because a lot of wealth is created through real estate. So I always knew I wanted to do that. So I started off real estate investing, and, I'm trying to look for distressed homes. I'm looking for, it's a very specific niche market. And I started to realize there's so many opportunities I'm passing up on with people that I could help, but I can't if I'm not licensed. And so it always interested me. When I'm in my 30s, I want to get into real estate. So right when I turned 30 years old, I got licensed and I got the ball rolling.
Amazing. You are very self-reflective, right? You are very motivated at the same time. How do you keep that drive? How do you keep moving forward and expanding?
It's hard for me not to be motivated because I have so many goals. And I'm the type of person, when I accomplish one goal, there's more than likely going to be something else that I've got my sights set on. My family is everything to me. That's my why. That's why I do everything that I do. I want to provide the best life for my kids. I got two small children, 5 and 3. I got a beautiful wife that I adore. And, I always think to myself, what's the consequence of not performing at my best and not being able to provide for them? And the consequence of failing motivates me to take action today so I don't end up living in that consequence. So, I have so many goals. This call would probably take 30 minutes if I just listed off a lot of my goals. But it all comes down to family, providing the best life possible, having freedom, not being limited by things that, require money and require finances.
And something that I really appreciate that you brought up is the fact that you're not kicking the can down the road, right? You're thinking, what can I do today? What can I keep building on today? Do you ever find yourself procrastinating or getting potentially overwhelmed with all the things that you try to do?
Oh my gosh. I think I would be lying if I said no. I think everybody does. I'm a human being as well. And, like just this past week, I had, I think a couple lazy days, and I was like, gosh, I'm just, I need a recharge, sometimes I just run. I just go. And I don't think about, okay, I need a day to recharge here. It's like my batteries are running low and I need to recharge it. So I have those days all the time, just like anybody else. I try to snap myself out of it as quickly as I can by thinking about what's the consequence if I don't. And I don't know why, but even when I first started my marketing business, I always felt like I was running out of time. I don't know why. I can't explain it, but I've always felt this sense of urgency. And maybe it's something I create in my own head, but I always think I have to get this done by this time. So that sense of urgency really motivates me. And I think that's why even though I do have my unmotivated days, my lazy days, I could snap myself out of it quickly because I was taught many, many years ago by a mentor of mine, a goal is a dream with a deadline. So if I don't have deadlines, they're not really goals, they're just dreams. So I stick to my deadlines as best as I can. But I have a lot of those. And so I'm very big on being in an environment that motivates me. And I think that's something that a lot of people may not think about, but we're all a product of our environment. And if we don't intentionally make our environment motivating, or we're not in an environment that provides us with energy, then we're going to have one too many lazy days because we're absorbing that energy from the environment. So I'm very particular. I'm very intentional about that. And there's times where I have to get into a new environment if I'm not feeling like my current environment is giving me the energy that I need to get to where I need to go.
The topic that you're bringing up, it seems very much like you're about managing yourself and knowing yourself. Have you always been that way, or is it a skill that you developed?
No, I don't, I don't think anyone is born that way. Oh, I could tell you this. Okay. So in high school, I was the complete opposite. And if you don't believe me, ask my brother. And the reason why I know that is because I procrastinated everything I possibly could. My senior year in high school, I remember my brother was presented with a business opportunity. And my brother said, I don't want to talk to Casey about it because he's so lazy. And I thought, oh, that kind of hurts, but he's got a point. I would finish my senior year. I'd come home around 12, 1 o'clock. I would take a nap for about 2.5 hours. And then my passion's breakdancing. So then I would breakdance for about 3 to 4 hours straight. Then I would, for some reason, eat food. And I wouldn't start my homework until like 9 or 10 o'clock at night. And then I would be going to bed like at 2, 3 in the morning. And so I was really lazy. And it's because I didn't have any goals at that time. I didn't have anything that I was focused on. But, it's something that developed within me I had some great mentors when I was 18 years old, and I was surrounded by people that were very successful, and I just absorbed as much as I could. I was a sponge, and I wanted to learn how to get my life to the next level. And so through a lot of discipline and years of personal development, I was able to retrain myself and reprogram my brain and my habits to get to where I'm at today. So not at all did I start off this way by any means.
Ultimately, you're gaining so much traction. And I mean, just to give background, could you share some of the strategies that you use here in Southern California to grow your business?
Yeah, so I mean, there's so many different ways to do it in real estate. You have your sphere of influence, which is the people that you know, and it's funny because your database, your sphere of influence, seems like that tends to be the advice that most experienced agents give any newbies is start with your sphere of influence, start with people that know you. I didn't really do that because my team we buy leads, and so that's kind of how I was born into it. It was straight cold calling, and that's not something that scares me anymore. And so I only started building my database about 2 months ago, and I just thought, you know what, I'm using social media, and I'm just hoping that my sphere of influence sees my social media posts. But I know that social media's got their different algorithms, and not everybody sees your posts, even if they're following you or if they're friends with you. So I just thought, I'm just going to reach out to people and just say, hey, I'm not sure if you know or not, but I'm an agent. I'd love to serve you if you're thinking about buying, selling, or investing, or anybody that you know. I'd love to provide. I love what I do, but I'm more passionate when it's someone that I know. And so many people were like, oh, wow, I wish I knew a month ago. I just bought a house. And I was like, oh my gosh, I should have done this sooner. So a lot of cold calling. I did do door knocking for a little bit. Wasn't my favorite thing to do because it just takes a lot of time, and I can get 2, 3, 4 times more done on the phone. But a lot of it, we buy leads, sphere of influence. I'm very big on providing social media value. I have a YouTube channel, and I like to provide monthly market updates. I like to give tips and ideas for real estate investing or just real estate in general if you're buying or selling. So for me, it's all about providing value. If I can't provide value, then why would someone want to pay me, right? Because you get what you pay for. So if someone says, I want you to list my house, well, what kind of value can I give to justify my commission? And that's something I'm very big on. I don't feel like I should get something for nothing. So as far as strategies go, I'm within my first year, so I'm still I haven't explored everything yet, but I love to cold call expireds. Building up my sphere of influence now. I love to deal with cold calling and the lead generation that we purchase. And I like to appeal to investors because that's my passion as well.
So many people will say, or, they'll be hesitant to even try. They won't even go out of their way to, talk to their sphere of influence. Well, I mean, at the same time, some of these things can get a little bit daunting, right? For example, like you just mentioned, with introducing yourself to your sphere of influence, I've known people who, are real estate agents who don't do that, who don't talk to their sphere because it becomes very difficult to feel genuine.
Right.
Do you ever encounter anything like that?
Yeah. Sometimes you just don't want to feel like you're selling yourself to people that you know. And I think it's an image issue, because you just think, I don't want to be that person. Nobody wants to be that person where you walk into a party and they go, oh, here he is. He's going to talk to us about real estate, or, buy a house or list our house. Nobody wants to be that person. And I think a lot of that is in our head. There's a saying by Michael DeMontagne. This was like 500 years ago. And he's known for saying, I've suffered tremendous tragedy in my life, most of which never happened. And it just means it's all in our head, and we will fear things that never happen or that may never happen. And I just thought, if I really believe in my value, I'm not going to be annoying about it, but people should know that I could help and serve them. Because here's another way to look at it, Alan, is, some people may not look at it this way. Who would your friends and family rather compensate? A complete stranger that they don't know, or someone that they actually know, love, and care about? They'd rather compensate someone they know, love, and care about if they know what you do. But if they don't, they're going to go to a stranger. And many times they go, wow, I wish I knew you were an agent. I would have gone to you. So, I don't want to live with that what if I just let people know. Not in an annoying way, but I can understand it's an image issue. If we don't feel we have value to give, then I could see how that could be more daunting.
And that's the crux of it, basically, right? As you just mentioned, knowing that you're bringing that value. And I think that for you, you have so many processes that you go through where every single day you're adding value moving forward.
Right.
Do you see any strategies that agents take that they think is bringing value but really isn't, or that it's not as good a strategy as people would think?
That's a great question. I haven't thought too much about that. I'm just so focused on what I'm doing, but I do observe and see what other people are doing as well. I'm so big on only follow people who have the results that you want. So, a lot of times if there's an agent that does not have the success that I'm looking for, then I'll look at the next agent right away. So I don't know a whole lot about what other agents are not doing. I think something that a lot of agents do, or to answer this, is they all kind of are sticking to the same scripts. They're all saying the same things, and they're not doing what they can to stand out from the crowd or have some kind of X factor that actually is a legitimate X factor that brings value. It's not some kind of fluff. So, there's a lot of talk in real estate, and a lot of agents can talk a good game, but they can't back it up. And it's probably just because of discipline or work ethic. And a lack of discipline or a lack of work ethic comes from a lack of having goals. So, I don't know completely the best way to answer that. I haven't observed too much what agents are doing wrong. I'm so focused on what successful agents are doing right, and just trying to mirror that and embody that.
Sure. No, I mean, and that makes complete sense. Definitely. One thing that I usually will see with agents is that they have the inclination to try to cut corners, or basically, as you mentioned, with internet leads, for an example, wanting to burn the bridge, right? Right off the prospect, say, this isn't somebody that's interested. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next one. How do you make sure that you don't do that too quickly, that you're not too judgmental when you first get into contact?
Right. Yeah, that's huge. That's a great point. Prejudging is something that I think is very expensive, because you can't judge a book by its cover. So you got to pre-qualify, ask the right questions. I think going back to your last question, I think a big mistake that a lot of agents make, and something that I did when I was new, is buyer lead calls. You're on the phone with them. They go, hey, I'd like to look at these houses. Can we look at it? And you're so excited. You go, yeah, let's go look at these houses, and you schedule it without even finding out, oh, they make $1,000 a month only. In California, you're not buying anything at $1,000 a month. And so you're not finding out, are they pre-approved? Are they pre-qualified? How far along are they in the process? Is this someone that's really actually looking, or are they kind of just a looky-loo? What's their time frame on buying? What's their time frame on selling? So asking the right questions to pre-qualify and not jumping the gun too quickly, because I'll be honest, it is hard to truly serve someone if we don't actually know their needs. And a lot of times agents will kind of treat every client like a cookie cutter client and not find out specifically, what is this client looking for? What are their needs? What can I do to serve them with what they're looking for in their life? And those questions are so important. And I've had clients say, wow, you ask more questions than any other agent that I've spoken to. And I go, well, I care about getting you what you want. And how can I get you what you want if I don't know what it is? And so I think that that's, I don't know if that answers the question, but cutting corners is huge. I think I feel terrible saying this, but I think any other agent watching this would probably agree with me. Doesn't make the industry look good, but a lot of agents are lazy, very lazy. And unfortunately that comes at the cost of the client. And there's so much homework. There's so much that I do behind the scenes that my clients will never know, because I want to make sure that we're effective. We get them the best result possible. If I'm helping represent a buyer, that we don't have to write 6, 7, 8, 9 offers to get them into a home. And I'm hearing a lot of that right now with my listings that I have. I have so many agents going, hey, I'm really hoping we can make this deal work. We've already lost out on 6 homes, 8 homes, 10 homes. And I just think, gosh, I'm very fortunate, knock on wood, that I've never had to write more than 2 offers to get a client's offer accepted. The vast majority of the buyers I've represented, we got their very first offer and their first home accepted. And it's because I don't cut corners. I speak to the agent. I find out what's important to your seller. How do we make this deal work? And I'm not treating everything like cookie cutter. When it's a listing, I got to find out the time frame. I got to figure out, okay, where are you going to go after this? And really look at the offers that we have. Which offers are strong? Which ones are weak? Look at just every element. There's so many details to transaction, and it's easy to cut corners, even on the easy things, because what's easy to do is easy not to do. And it's like taking out the trash. How easy is that to do? So easy. Brushing your teeth. So easy. But it's even easier not to do those things. So, I think it's about doing the little things, doing the ordinary things extraordinarily well.
That's amazing, because that actually leads to my next question very well, which is, you have such an emphasis on communication, right? But especially with internet leads, right? It's not uncommon to have to battle your way to keep that conversation open to begin with, right? You have to spend the first 10, 15 seconds winning them over. How is it that you usually do that? How are you able to get those answers to those questions?
It's not successful every single time, as some internet leads are a little bit more closed off than others. But for the most part, I like to get to know the person. I want them to know I'm a human being and I'm not just a realtor. And I think that that's huge, because a lot of times when you're on the phone with a complete stranger, you expect, okay, they're going to talk to me kind of robotic. Do they have any life in them, or are they just reading from a script? And I like to get to know them. And sometimes I'll crack jokes here and there. And, if they say they got kids, I'll want to know a little bit more about their kids. So I like to build that trust and rapport right away, because I want them to know I'm a real human being before I'm a realtor. And, if we're going to work together, it's going to be a good experience. We're going to build a friendship, whether you like it or not. Because to me, I would be bored out of my mind if it was just transaction, and I wasn't building relationships. Real estate is a people business. It's not a transactional business. Transactions happen as a byproduct of building good relationships. And so from the get-go, that philosophy, I think from the moment I say hello, I think the client on the other end of the phone could feel that.
Amazing. Fantastic. And so, would you categorize that as your brand as a realtor, right? The KC Schein brand, or, your philosophy on your clients is the relationship comes first?
Absolutely. The relationship and the satisfaction comes first before anything. And that's why I do so much behind the scenes that a lot of them will never even know about. Because my goal is to underpromise and overdeliver. I want the transaction to finish and they go, wow, that did not go as I was expecting, based on how all my friends and family said this should go. And I've gotten that several times already from a lot of clients. I've had a lot of them go, I thought it was going to be so stressful. And I'm like, well, not with me. Because I dot my I's, I cross my T's, and I probably do more than what a lot of agents think is necessary, but it's at the satisfaction of my clients. And so, under promise, over deliver. I want the customer satisfaction. Why would they refer people to me if they go, yeah, Casey did the minimum. Yeah, we got into a house. Yeah, Casey sold my house, but it was a forgettable experience, or I would like to forget the experience. It's like, no, I want them to say, I want them to be a raving fan, and I want them to go, man, every single person that I know looking for a home needs to have this type of experience, because there was a survey done. Moving is one of the top 3 most stressful things any human being can do in their life. And I don't want it to feel that way. I'm going to reduce that as much as possible. And that can only happen if I dot my I's and cross my T's and I exceed their expectations.
Amazing. And I really appreciate the fact that you hold yourself to that high standard, because, like you mentioned, there are so many agents and just people in general who don't. When you were mentioning earlier about why you're not so sure that you feel that sense of urgency all the time, I actually feel the same way. Basically it means that you know your timer is ticking, right? You have things that you want to accomplish, you have goals in the future, and that really is the main way to keep that going, is to have a healthy relationship with that urgency.
And you know what? If I could touch on that real quick,
Go ahead.
I'm very impatient with my goals, but I'm patient with people. And I learned that the hard way years ago, because I was impatient with my goals and I was impatient with the people I was working with. And so, if someone wasn't responding the way that I would like, I would rub wrong. And then I thought, the fastest way to accomplish my goals is to be patient with people, but impatient with my deadlines. So, and you might think, that's kind of a contradictory, but it really isn't, because it takes longer to reach your goals if you rub wrong with people, and then you got to find a new person to work with because you lost one. So I don't know, what you just said totally made me think, yeah, I have a sense of urgency, but none of my clients are ever going to feel that I'm rushing them or moving them along in a time frame that they're not comfortable with.
Fantastic. And thank you so much, Casey, for sharing all the information that you have shared so far and the insight. We are getting towards the end of our time here together. Do you have any last quick tips or tidbits for other agents? Anything that you'd like to share on your motivation and developing that motivation?
Yeah, be very conscious of your environment. We're all a product of our environment. You could be the most mentally strong person on the planet, but if you put that person in the wrong environment, it will affect their motivation and their mentality. So if your environment doesn't motivate you, change it. Move around, go somewhere else, or literally physically change your house, your room, your office, wherever you work. And you got to have goals. And what's a goal? It's a dream with a deadline. So if you say, I want to accomplish this in my life, well, you got to put a deadline to it. You don't put a deadline, it's not a real goal. Because I think every successful person has a sense of urgency. And that's what gets them to take action today and not procrastinate. So if there's any advice I'm giving agents, put your client first before your needs. Commission comes second. Getting paid is a byproduct of good service. And be conscious of the environment that you're surrounding yourself with. And if it doesn't motivate you, change it.
Amazing. Fantastic. Thank you so much for, putting these words into so succinctly and so easy to remember. You're basically giving away the secrets, I would say. Before we do sign off here, Casey, do you have any last quick notes that you would like to share with, potential clients that are watching? Why should, other people work with Casey Schein?
Sure. Well, what I would say is, if you're looking to buy or sell or invest, look at my track record. Test me. I tell a lot of clients that when they go, I've spoken to a lot of agents and, this and that, I go, well, test me. And I'm confident in saying that because I know they're going to have a great experience, because I know the value that I bring. They're going to have a great experience. If it gets rocky, because not every transaction goes smooth, we're going to take care of it. We're going to find solutions that is not going to feel like the sky is falling. And so for the clients that are watching, of course, I would be honored, and I would love to earn your business. And, my advice is just, if you want that good experience, if you want something that is very stressful to not feel that way, then I would love to help serve you, whether you're looking to sell, buy, or find a good investment. I know the investment language because that's how I started in real estate, and make sure you don't get into a bad deal.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Casey, for everything. For our listeners, we hope that you enjoyed the episode. We'd love to hear any feedback that you might have. You can send a quick email to media@setschedule.com with any notes that you have to offer. You can also connect with us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. You can subscribe to youtube.com/set schedule to get more content just like this. This is Alan Perez again with Meet the Agent, and we'll see you next time. Until then, happy selling.